Alright, well, welcome to another episode of Life Isn't Over. I'm in the worldwide famous kitchen studios here at the Pickett household, and there's my oven ready to go for what we're going to be fixing today. Now, a big part about working out and eating healthy is exactly that. You've got to have some resistance, some cardio, and you've got to combine that with eating right. And there are lots of different ways that you can eat right. And one of the reasons why I eat right is right here. This is my daughter Sophia. Say hi.
Hi.
And I'm hoping that one day when I eat good, thank you Sophie, is that she's going to pick up those traits along with the other kids we have here in the house. And instead of eating Tootsie Rolls and chicken fingers, which is what Sophie eats all the time, I'm hoping that as she gets older, she's going to see Dad as a role model, and Mom too, that we can eat well and still have a great life. So we're gonna make something that might shock a few people. It's basically blueberry muffins. Now, one of the problems out there with foods that you're eating, especially carbohydrates, is there are two different types of carbohydrates. There's simple carbohydrates and complex. And you'll hear lots of times about how pasta is bad for you, breads are bad for you. A lot of carbohydrates out there are bad for you, and it's because they're made of simple carbohydrates, which means that they are broken down quickly and can be converted into fat quite quickly. But complex carbohydrates, which usually come from whole wheats and whole grains, things that you're going to find like, for example, oatmeal, whole wheat pastas, whole wheat flour, which we're going to use today, that's one way you can modify the foods that you normally like to eat so that they are taking longer to digest but are not as easily converted into fats, and they also can give you energy for a little bit longer period of time. So let's get started with that recipe today, and let's go from there. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've taken 1 3/4 cups of whole wheat pastry flour, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 cup of the fructose. And I'm in the process of just kind of mixing that together. Okay, now in a separate bowl, I'm going to probably edit some of this out so that we don't take up too much time. But I'm going to take a 3/4 cup of buttermilk, like so. Here's ½ cup. And here's another 1/4 cup. Okay, that's done. Set that to the side. And I need to take 3 egg whites. Now here's what I've done. Whenever you're separating out eggs, I just use the shell and just transfer it back and forth, and you just get as much of the egg white as possible. We're keeping the yolk out because that's where there's a lot of fat, a lot of cholesterol, but that egg yolk is pure protein. Okay. So I've got the buttermilk and the egg whites. Now I need to take 2 tablespoons of the juice that I drained from the blueberries. So here's 1, here's 2. Okay, now we're going to whisk that together, making sure we get the buttermilk, the eggs, everything all put together. Okay. Now, once I've got that done, I'm going to add that to my mixture. And then we're going to mix that together. And the consistency, you'll see, will change into more like cake batter quite quickly. Sorry if the bowl moves around here. Okay, I would say that that's done. Okay, then the last thing I do is I'm going to add a cup of the blueberries. And I'm going to, as they say in the culinary world, I'm going to fold those in, meaning I'm going to delicately incorporate the blueberries in there so that when you bake them and then eat them, it's going to look like they're blueberries instead of a hodgepodge of junk. I would typically just take the spoon and put this in, but I'm going to take a third, hopefully that's in focus, I'm going to take a third cup and I'm going to spoon that into my mixture, and then I'm just going to divide it up like so. And I'm going to edit this out so you don't have to painstakingly watch me do this for every one. But that's it. I mean, this whole recipe, yes, I put my ingredients together ahead of time, but the whole thing takes, really takes less than 10 minutes to put together. So, you know, 10 minutes means, you know, a lot of breakfasts and or snacks are done, depending on how many of these muffins you make. So we're going to stop there, and then I'll show you what these look like when they come out of the oven. Okay, so they're all done as you see, and these are going to bake in the oven at 375 for about 20 minutes. Okay, so here are the finished blueberry muffins, P90X style. As you can see, once you put them in these muffin tins. Okay, this one's easy to come out. That one's not. But anyway, so what I'll do is I'll take these out on the counter, and then I've got some Ziploc freezer bags. I basically just fill the Ziploc bag, put it on the counter, zip it up. They keep fresh that way, and hopefully family members besides me will actually eat these. But like I said before, if you fix too many, then you can take them to your friends. I would eat one, but I just had a protein bar. But trust me, these are delicious. And if you want another treat to go with this, to get your protein, a lot of people like lattes, but they can't have them because of the milk and everything. Starbucks lattes are, you know, 400 calories or whatever. Here's something I do. Make your coffee, take a scoop of protein powder, put that in there, and then stir it up as you're adding your coffee. And you end up with a little bit of a froth up at the top. And it's a great way to incorporate that 20-25 grams of protein in with your coffee. So you have that, you have the muffin, that's a 300 calorie breakfast. It's a great way to start the day with your carbs and the right kinds of carbs and your protein. So with that being said, that's all of this edition of Life Isn't Over. I want to dedicate this episode to a couple of cool people out there. One of them is Perry Tinsley. Perry is the podcaster over at Power Blast Podcast. He's got probably close to, he's got over 100 episodes. But he's one of the first ones that I saw out there that had a podcast dedicated to Beachbody and P90X. So I want to give a shout out to Perry Tinsley, and then also to my coach, Shannon Grella, and all of the folks on the Fitness Frenzy thread. If you go to Team Beachbody, you can subscribe to all these different message boards, and Fitness Frenzy is the one that Shannon put together. So there's a whole host of people, and we hold ourselves accountable to make sure that we're working out and eating right. And I just want to give a shout out to those folks. So Perry and Shannon, I appreciate all that you've done to help me out. So that said, God, I'm so tempted to say it's never too late, because that's what Perry says. But this is my podcast, so I got to come with something different. And it's sad to say life isn't over, because it makes it sound like we're going to die soon. But you know what? If we eat healthy and all like that, we don't have to worry about that for many years to come. All right. Until I get a better catchphrase, just remember, life isn't over. Talk to you next time.